Hello everybody and welcome back for more Let's Play Donkey Kong Country 3. In the last episode we got done with Mikanos, and it's also where we encountered Chaos. And we also found out that he was the one responsible for Donkey and Diddy Kong going missing. In this episode we're going to go back over to Funky's Rentals to turn those two skis and to get our next upgrade for our hovercraft. And so go ahead and just let him, well, literally smack it with a hammer to get it to work. Kind of like with Fix It Felix. Alright, so now we have the Turbo Ski, and so the Turbo Ski is without a doubt the best kind of vehicle that we have for this overworld here. So now we can actually be able to travel anywhere. So new paths have opened to us, and then we will be able to, well, actually it lets us to get up these waterfalls. So you can just be using those skis there, which I guess probably would have been otherwise impossible. But yeah, so without a doubt this would be the best boat or the best kind of vehicle in the entire game. So you know we have all the upgrades, and so we can actually be able to freely travel throughout the entire overworld. Yeah, I guess that's actually one thing I would have to give praise to this game, too, because, like, you know, because you remember back in the first two Donkey Kong Country games where, like, the overworld maps are all, like, you know, just simple level selects. Here in this game, you know, they actually put a little more emphasis on exploration, even on the overworld map, so you actually just, you know, visit some different landmarks and, you know, just going to different areas for levels, or, like, you know, just seeing these cabins. So even though it's very small at the very least, you know, just going from a top-down perspective, and so it's a little more... it's a little more simplified than it actually does put a little more for exploration. I guess it's actually something that the N64 were later just you know put that on full force. So anyway, so now we have the this snow world here called K3. Why is it called K3? I mean, I'm trying to think about you know what it would stand for though. You know, kind of like what it had to do with the snow world, but you know whatever. It's called K3. So. And I gotta say, though, this is without a... Well, I'm only gonna say this, you know, by far, though, because I can't remember what the other worlds are gonna be like, though. But I will say, though, this world gave me so much shit. So far, it would have to be my least favorite world in the entire game. Well, least favorite area. I wouldn't call it a world, though, because it is all part of the same... you know, setting. But yeah, so far it is my least favorite area in the entire game because, like, oh my god, these couple of levels. Well, especially that one, well, it's going to be the next level that we're going to be going to that, oh god, I was so fucking enraged. And you'll definitely see why, but... this level, for this gimmick, for this level here, it's another one of those vertical kind of levels, and so it's basically like you're just going on this mountain area, or, well, it's more like a... It's actually more like a canyon, basically. So yeah, just going across this canyon, and you have to avoid these class because you know no matter where you go, they will always follow you. They will because you actually go nearby them, and once you go onto their the ropes, then they will keep on following you constantly. So that's what you want to watch out for. You want to make sure to find the safe spots over there. You know, just kind of pay attention to the patterns. Now, this is actually one of those asshole kind of DK emblems. Is that, you know, you actually have to toss that seal barrel a certain time, because we see these right over there. So what you have to do is that you have to just say, yeah, we want to make sure you have Kitty for this, because Dixie does not work. So make sure you have Kitty, or just playing as Kitty, and you have to just toss it upwards and just you know, make sure the barrel goes after you. So that way there you can actually hit that coin. But my god, that was actually just That was actually just this one asshole placement, so I actually took a while to try to get this one over. I tried it as Dixie, but it just never worked at all, so... Alright, so I guess hopefully it shouldn't really give us too much trouble here. Just avoid this guy, and then just, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of them everywhere. Especially like these ones here. Oh, goddamn. Okay, I lost Kitty, though, but... I mean, hopefully I shouldn't really need it for... Okay, so now we decide to go get Kitty back, you know, just all off screen, and you know, just for the sake of that bonus barrel that's over there. So yeah, you had to just get that you just have to, you know, just throw Dixie up there, so that way there you can be able to get enough of a hate for the bonus barrels. But can I just say though, like these levels, you know, when you want to get the bonus barrels, I mean, if you're doing 103% completion, I should stress. There is going to be a couple of sections where you are going to need both Kongs. You cannot afford to lose your partner for some certain bonus barrels. No, you actually have to have two Kongs with you, so that way there you can actually be able to throw the other character upwards. Well, I mean, like, you know, at least when you're playing as Kitty, and then just having to throw Dixie up there because you know, Kitty actually does have a better throwing height than Dixie does. I mean, for Kitty it's justified because, well, you know, despite being a toddler, then you know, he's pretty heavy because, you know, he's definitely stronger over two, despite his age. So because of that, then then Dixie probably wouldn't be able to throw a mess, because of his because of his mass. But it's always best, just to go with Kitty for throwing Dixie upwards because since he has a much better throwing range or throwing height. And there we go. All right, thank God we're done with this level here. But yeah, this is actually where this next one's gonna be the bane of my very existence. Tearaway Toboggan. Oh my God, fuck this level. Ugh. But the first thing you want to do is that we'll see in just a sec though. But the first thing we're gonna do, there's a bonus barrel just down below, and make sure you have Dixie. Well, I honestly don't know if you actually reach over there with Kitty. But Dixie's a lot easier either way though, because you can just be able to use her spin glide to get over to that bonus barrel. Just make sure it's very precise and just avoid that buzz, and then that's where you get to that bonus barrel. Now that bonus room is done. Here's the whole gist of this. So you're sliding down this toboggan or bobsled. I mean, I call it bobsled previously. And so it's, for one thing, it's very fast paced. That's what's to be expected in these kind of bobsled levels. But here's one thing you want to be careful for, is that these goddamn enemies, and especially their enemy placements too, because because of how fast it was going, you never even know what to expect. So sometimes they'll come out of nowhere, but you want to make sure to be quick with having to jump over them, or just try to avoid them altogether. But you also want to make sure not to crash into any of the walls or the enemies themselves, though. Otherwise, you will either lose your partner or lose a life. But because of how fast-paced it was, and there have been so many times that I kept on running those enemies because of the way their placements are, or running into the walls, and so I would just have to keep on just having to jump over them. And yeah, especially these guys here, I kept running to them a lot constantly, running to the walls well, and I can never know what their placements are. And so for the next bonus, bro, it has to be. Okay, so you actually had to make a very precise jump to get to that bonus barrel, but holy shit! Ugh, God, you have no idea how many times I had to restart this kind of recording over and over again because of those goddamn enemy placements that I kept on running into. And and especially with the camera would just go and pan all over the place, just either going up and down, and then you'll actually see this enemy suddenly coming right there. And there were also times where you actually be able to go through that one cabin without getting hit, though. But I actually did run against the wall of the cabin, and then with the other one, I did not. So, what the hell kind of programming was that? And so, the way I saw those enemy placements, that I thought I would be able to just speed right through, and then I don't even expect those enemy placements that they'll just be here. And then all of a sudden, it comes here, and then I just, don't really get another reaction time to actually be able to avoid them. And then I get hit, and then I lose a fucking life. So, yeah, fuck this level. Ugh, God. But, we're done with this one here. But you want to know how long it took me to get this level done and to also get all those collectibles? 10 minutes! 10 fucking... Oh, wait, no. Scratch that. 12 minutes! God damn! That was how long it took me just to have to restart this all over again because the amount of times I died. Ugh, God. That was really what left a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to this whole area in particular, though. Ugh, God. Let's hope I don't have to do that ever again, though. But, well, I mean... Even with the next game we're about to go to, that might seem a little more challenging, though, but, I mean, that's probably something I could handle, though. I can always just use those save states as well. I mean, I guess it would be easier to handle, though, because of the 3D environment. I know a lot of guys are probably just, just thinking about, probably dreading about what I might be dealing with eventually, though, for the next particular game we're going to be going to, and, one that's going to be very long as well, and, probably take up, a lot of time for, which I'm sure, again, you guys already know what I'm talking about for this here, but... I don't know, it might sound like I feel a little more comfortable just, with this here, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I seem to be a little better at playing 3D games than I do to 2D games, but, I mean, for the most part, it's actually because, since having grown up with that kind of console, though, then, maybe it's kind of come to me naturally. Alright, this level here, so this is actually the kind of level where the whole gimmick is that you'll see these barrels come down the waterfall, you have to use them in platforms. Now, why does that sound familiar? Oh, wait a sec, it's literally Mario 2 USA. Or, for originality's sake, Doki Doki Panic. Yeah, it's actually what literally the whole thing is, just jumping across from platform to platform on waterfalls. So, yeah, nice little reference that they had there, just to reference those kind of games there, too. But, yeah, it's another return to those kind of waterfall levels, just either, go behind them or just, or in front. This one also gave me a bit of trouble as well, and also, fair warning, you're going to be seeing a bit of jump cuts as well, because, well, mainly because of having to go for the DK emblems, and so because I had to just go a certain way because, you know, this is actually where, it's actually where, you know, having to get the DK emblems is going to be a bit trickier, and it actually, you know, really wants you to strategize. Also, you want to know one kind of bullshit thing that I just came across? So, like, I go to this waterfall, and, well, I guess I wasn't able far enough to, for the barrels to blow apart, but maybe that's what it was. Because, like, you know, I thought the barrels were supposed to just come downwards right about now, but they haven't really spawned yet, but I don't know, maybe it's because I haven't really gone far enough to, for them to actually just, for them to appear. But I didn't want to take any chances either, too, because, like, I always feel like that when the barrels would just go downwards, and so I'd actually miss my jump, and then I had to, I end up falling all the way down. But, like I was trying to do was actually just trying to bring, have Dixie use her, just a glide right over there. And yeah, again, if you want to, oh, hi there, useless bird animal buddy, or you're still useless bird, of course. But, oh, yeah, also, I never got to mention, when you go on these waterfalls and go on those barrel platforms, yeah, this is actually where the you're going to be seeing a lot of lag here, despite the fact that this is from the this is on the NSO, and you know just having just NSO emulated, but like you know the game will still chug when you're going on these waterfalls. You know, just seeing a bunch of lag going on, but a lot of slowdown because you know it's kind of hard for the game to handle both the the barrel platforms and the crashing flow of the waterfall at the same time. But anyways, yeah, I was still kind of nervous there. And yeah, that useless bird served its purpose. But yeah, getting those bonus barrels, like I was saying, you know, it's pretty tricky to do so, and you'll definitely, well, I mean, it's only if you're going after those bonus barrels and then doing 103% completion. Although, I guess it's one of those things where, you know, you'll be missing out on a lot of the content if you actually don't go for 103% completion, like I did in my previous run, where I just went straight through, but if you actually are, then yeah, this is actually, it is where you'll definitely, my god, I can't even speak today, and yeah, I did a jump cut there, because, like, you know, at this point, I was so done with this level, like, you know, I really want to reach the end goal, and then having to get hit by the enemy was, you know, very much bullshit, and so I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna rewind right then and there, so that way there I can just be done with this level. But yeah, it's also one of those things where, you know, you would definitely need certain Kongs, I know, and for this instance, you would need, you definitely need Dixie for sure. In fact, it actually is required to actually have Dixie to glide over. You can't really do this as Kitty otherwise, so when it comes to having to just glide over those bonus barrels, so. Anyway, though, my god, I'm having dyslexia. This is Crackshot Crockett, so, oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, meet Croc. And this would be the debut of, well, this one certain nightmarish kind of enemy that we will be definitely running into in the foreseeable future. But this is actually a Squitter only level, so you'll just be playing as a Squitter all throughout in this factory level. I guess I noticed that, you know, that, you know, it's always having to play a Squitter for those factory levels. So, here's the gimmick for this level here. This here, so yeah, to talk about Croc, he's basically nothing but this reticle that that'll just be stalking you. So as soon as you get to its zone, that's when the Croc reticle will start to appear, and it'll be just following straight at you. And then once it actually starts to use this flow to actually just take aim, and then it'll turn red and it'll just freeze in place, and that's when it actually shoots you. It actually shoots these cheesy puffs at you. Yes, that's right, folks. It'll just be shooting cheesy puffs at you. So yeah, that really took away all the tension there. But yeah, that's literally what the whole thing is. It's actually just some kind of sequence where, you know, just having to avoid getting targeted and then shot in the face by these cheesy puffs. God, I guess I really am getting punished for you know, just kind of shit talking cheesy puffs. I guess that's my kind of payback there, or just so you know, kind of punishment. But yeah, that's all there is to it. So yeah, you want to make sure to avoid the shots of Croc, because you know, it'll be constantly stalking you all over the place. So, you know, it'll just go all over, and then if you just keep on going upwards, or you just keep on progressing over, then it'll keep on stalking you. So yeah, the best way to go about it, as soon as it turns red and is about to fire you, that's when it actually stops, and then you just be able to avoid the shot altogether. So one strategy you can go for is that once you make these web platforms, you want to stay there until well, you can actually shoot another one, but you want to stay there until Croc fires its shot at you, and then that way there you can actually just go in and move to the next platform. So that way there you actually shoot all together. So that's actually the one strategy that conjured into my mind, and so that way there I can just avoid getting shot too. It is a pretty long level too. As a matter of fact, it actually did take pretty long for me to go for, because, you know, just having to use those strategies and just, you know, because of course overall I just want to make sure to avoid getting hit here. But But yeah, all I gotta say is much though that, you know, this is actually something that pretty much everybody knows about, and you know, it is definitely one of the more infamous kind of enemies, especially for a certain later game that that we'll be getting to, and we'll be seeing more of him, of course. So yeah, definitely would traumatize a lot of 7-year-olds too. But yeah, despite the infamy of that kind of enemy, this is actually where he made his debut here in Donkey Kong Country 3. So yeah, a little bit of a trivia right here too. But I guess because of how you know, well, I mean, it might look pretty intimidating for one thing, but at the very least, it wasn't really as nightmarish. So mainly because of the maybe because it wouldn't be as sound effects though, but it's still pretty intimidating regardless. So especially having to get stalked over by that by the reticle, and then just you know, for the potential of getting shot by or just getting cheesy puffs to the face. So, but yeah, that's really what it is here. So. I will say this much, though, that's going to be a lot to talk about, you know, whenever I get to that game, and then there's going to be, you know, a lot of the horror stories that will be coming across. I also got to say, though, so this is actually what I found out with the in the GBA version of this game, is that this is actually one of the more annoying things that, you know, for this here, is that, you know, every time Croc gets a shot at you, it'll be doing this constant evil laughter. Like, you know, it'll just laugh constantly as it tries to shoot at you, and it does that repeatedly, and it actually does get pretty annoying as well. I mean, for one thing, it can be able to get scary, though. And also, how the fuck did I actually survive that? I actually lucked the fuck out for this one here. Because of these hazardous materials that we see here. The hazardous liquid. Whatever the hell that thing is. I mean, it can't be a nuclear waste here or something like that. It looks like, let me think. It actually looks like some kind of, like, I don't know. And I just got itch my ear. Hang on one second. Okay, sorry about that. I just now had an itch in my, my ear canal. So, honestly, though, it kind of looks like, you know, some dangerous-looking vodka sauce soup. That's what it is. I mean, that's kind of what it looks like, you know, this vodka sauce. So, I mean, you guys don't know what it is, though. I mean, if you haven't really been in other restaurants, it's actually what's used for, like, you know, in these Italian dishes. Like, you know, they use, it's one of those sauces, like, you know, if you go to Italian restaurants where you just, you know, make these Italian-based food themselves, though, they actually just use the vodka sauce to go over, like, either pasta or, you know, or spaghetti, or, like, mainly, like, you know, with either some pasta stuff, like, or just, or put them on gnocchi, because, like, that's what I did one time, too, whenever I was, making some gnocchi for dinner, and I just, used some vodka sauce, so, and, you know, actually, it really turned out good, though, but, yeah, it's actually what it is, though, and, you know, it's actually something a lot of those famous Italian restaurants go for. I'm not talking, like, you know, those, regular chain-like Italian restaurants, such as, you know, Olive Garden, or, Carrabba's, you know, those kind of things. I always feel like those kind of, like, you know, more local, more fancy Italian restaurants would actually go for, which actually just makes it so good. So, now to talk about this bonus room here, this is actually where you get to control the reticle. You're basically taking control of Croc here. So somehow, I guess, you know, maybe it just ended up being playable. You actually have to move the reticle and just shoot these cheesy puffs over to those enemies. And honestly, though, the control kind of sucks because, like, you know, actually just the control for this one isn't really as precise. It kind of just goes, you know, all over in this kind of motion. So yeah, it doesn't really doesn't really feel as smooth here. And also, yeah, to get that bonus coin, you actually have to shoot the bonus coin to collect it, and then just mark that level was completed, or the bonus level was completed at the very least. Alright, so I get this one here, and yeah, like I said, it is definitely a long level. God damn, honestly, though, this is actually one thing that you know, always that always bothers me. Just because, you know, I would actually just try to go across, and then all of a sudden these enemies just appear, like, right out of nowhere, like an ambush, like when you least expect it to. That's actually the one thing that I mean, this may sound like a bias. I know it kind of sounds like, you know, a very shallow thing for me to say, but that's actually the one thing that I never really liked about these 2D side-scrolling platformers, is that, you know, you try to go along your merry way, and then you actually don't really expect anything much, though, but then all of a sudden these enemies just come right out of nowhere, especially, like, especially more so with these kind of little woodland critters that kind of look like those hedgehog critters that, you know, that look very docile, and then they just kind of go along just try to fuck with your day, too. So, yeah, and also I kind of screwed this one up here because, you know, I was trying to toss it over, then it just deflected offwards because, you know, because especially with, you know, after that animal buddy, then that steel barrel does not respawn at all. So, yeah, I had to go and do a rewind here because I just didn't want to do this thing all over again. Because, you know, I mean, for one thing, I got shit to do, and then also for the fact that, you know, just having to record this whole thing, and especially after, you know, after fucking Tearaway Toboggan just gave me so much shit, and I was that pissed off too, so, yeah, at this point, I just want to get this done and over with, though, so. Alright, so this level here, this should be the last level for this whole world here, so I will say this much, though, it doesn't really have as many of the levels here in K3, despite the fact that it actually did give me a lot of shit, and so actually ended up being half hour long, though, but that's because of those couple side quests. We have these guys here. They're called the Lemguins. Yes, they kind of decided to just corrupt the name of Penguin, because, like, you know, I mean, they're literally penguins, though, but, you know, what did I decide to call them? Lemguins. How genius that could be, huh? But, yeah, what those Lemguins will do, they'll constantly pop out of the hole, and they never end as well. It's all endless here, so, they'll actually just slide on their bellies, and then, well, I mean, that's kind of typical for what, real-life penguins do. But they will hurt you, so the best thing to do is just to go and jump on them. And that's what you have to do. You actually have to jump on them, because you can't really roll on them, otherwise you'll still take damage, mainly because of their beaks. So, yeah, that's actually what there is here. Man, that's always the thing with these games here, you know, just, like, you know, those animals here, they look so innocent, they look like they're minding their own business, and yet they're still considered as enemies. Like, you know, that's kind of a lot of things with these, I mean, if it's not the Kremlin crew, like, you know, those, since they look intimidating enough for crocodiles, then, you know, it could be other woodland critters, like, you know, beavers, or mice or rats. Well, maybe rats, probably would be considered as enemies, though, because it would still make sense, though. But, like, beavers, though, like the naughties, you know, they look pretty derpy and, you know, kind of, and still kind of docile, but they're still enemies, though. You know, very much like those, like, Kirby enemies, where, you know, they look so happy and innocent, and yeah, you know, behind their cute little faces, you know, they actually have this, you know, this mindset where they actually want to kill you. That's always what it is with Kirby enemies, you know, just how cute they look, but they're actually considered enemies and they want to kill you. Oh, wow, I forgot how short this level was. I, you know, just went for all the bonus barrels and then get the DK emblem, and so I forgot how short this was. Anyway, so we're gonna go to our next Brothers Bear. This is Blizzard's base camp, and this here is Blizzard. So this video ended up taking a little longer, though, because I decided to go after another one of those Brothers Bear side quests. So this is actually another one of them we're going to be going for. We haven't really done it for a while, but we're going to go ahead and do another one of those side quests. So what it is here is that he's supposed to be a friend of Blue, like, you know, the that sad-looking, depressed blue bear that we saw in Cotton Top Cove. And so, apparently it's supposed to be his birthday, and so, Blizzard, he was going to do some mountain climbing, but that means he's missing out on Blue's birthday, so he's basically tasking you with, delivering this present over to him, so that way you know, at least somebody's thinking about him, though, so that's actually shown to be a good friend at the very least, you know, just doing something for him. But first, we gotta go get this banana bird, and so, this is actually where, you know, these kind of challenges, like, you know, those kind of Simon Says challenges, kind of get a little tricky. It actually takes a lot more memorization because of the amount of buttons you have to press in a certain kind of pattern. And also, they're not really in a set kind of pattern either, though. They're always randomized for every time you enter these caves, just for the sake of getting those banana birds. Oh yeah, another way to get to a Wrinkly Save Cave, but I haven't really got to do so yet. Alright, so now that we're actually starting another one of those Brothers Bear side quests, so we're gonna go ahead and leave this area first, and then we're gonna go backtrack over to the Cotton Top Cove, just so that way they can actually go and get that present over to Blue. So let's go back over to Blue's Beach Hut, and we just hear the summer music. A present for me? Oh, thank you, Dixie. You've really made my day. Let's have a look inside. Alright, oh yeah, somehow the music actually gets faster, because it actually shows how happy he is for this here. Oh, it's a bowling ball. Well, it's far too heavy for me. I know. Why don't you have it, Dixie? Alright, so now we have the bowling ball, and so we're going to use that for this little something here that'll take us over to the next banana fairy. So we're going to go ahead and leave, and then we're going to head back over to Mykonos. And so, if you actually remember the other bear that had this big cannon called, I think it's called Big Bessie, I think it was. I think it was Big Bessie. He needs some sort of ammunition, some kind of object for him to be able to fire the cannon. And so that's actually what will lead us to our next banana fairy. So let's go back over to Bazooka's Barracks, or Barracks, or something like that. I don't know. Have you seen Big Bessie? I haven't fired her for years. No ammunition, you see. Well, I got some for you here. What have you got there, Dixie? A heavy ball? Well, you never know. It might just work. Shall we load Big Bessie up and fire her off? Yes, we're going to lock and load, sir. Okay, let's give it a go. Ready, aim, and so what we're going to do here is that he's not really going to be using this bowling ball. Well, I guess that's probably what he's here. But yeah, we're literally going to go back over to the authorized personnel desk just behind him, and so we're going to go ahead and fire upwards. And yeah, that's actually what the what that platform is for. Just getting into the Sky High Seeker, and there'll be our next banana bird to get to. So yeah, that's actually like the only way to get to there. Like you saw that that floating platform that's up there, and so we're actually wondering how exactly we're going to get up there. But that's actually what it's going to be using the cannon for, so we have to just go and get that bowling ball and just, you know, kind of backtrack over to that area just for the sake of getting that banana bird, too, so... Yeah, that's kind of where, you know, like, a lot of things are going to be involved, or a little more involved, just having to, you know, go from one area to the next, just having to do those kind of side quests, so, which I guess usually doesn't take too long either, though, so... Anyway, so that's all done over with here. There's another cabin that's just next door, but I don't really visit the place just yet though because there's not really there's not really anything we can do at the moment though. So, anyways, back to K3 we go, and so new hairdo. This is literally the same hairdo you've had, frankly. Wow, look at all the banana birds we've had. Yeah, you actually see the amount of banana birds that you have collected here too. Oh, 62%. We're almost done here. Aren't you going to give your favorite relative a goodbye kiss? You know, honestly, seeing that dialogue actually kind of makes it even sadder in hindsight. Well, considering, well, we'll see it eventually. I don't know. Hopefully, she should be fine though. She should be still around and kicking for the rest of it, right? Right? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, all that's left now is the just the boss. So yeah, we're pretty much already done with these levels in such a short time too. Even though this video is very long though. First, we're going to go back over to a Swinky Sideshow, and yeah, once again, I'm going to keep on doing Race to 25. I always feel like doing Race to 25 is always the best kind of minigame, because that's the one I actually feel a lot more natural at. Alright, so for this time, we're going to go ahead and just make sure to win this one here, so... It's actually for the sake of getting more of this collectible, especially the more of those bear coins, because like, I can't exactly remember when we're going to be needing more of those bear coins, but... We're probably going to want to collect as many of those as we ever can, though, you know, just in case. I mean, we may never know, because, you know, especially for some certain kind of things we need to do. I just hope that we don't really need to just having to collect, you know, so much more and for the sake of, you know, having to grind even more either, though, so. Alright, so, yeah, because of the fact that how much of a cocky asshole Cranky is, and, you know, for once, I actually feel like I really want to rub it in his face for the fact that I actually just win here. So, yeah. But we should be again... We should be getting pretty close to 25 as well, you know, for 25 points. And just one more to go. And yes, and we made 25. Yay! You fraudster. I'm about to consult my lawyers with... Oh, okay, yeah. Just because I win and you think that's illegal for me to win? Fuck you. So, yeah, that's actually what I want to do. Because of the fact that, you know, since Cranky is very much an asshole and how cocky he is and, you know, how he always roasts victories, you know what, I figure just going to turn the tables over and just rub my victory in his face here, too. So, anyway, folks, boss time. This is Bleak's house, and so here we have the boss of this level, Bleak. And he's, well, he's an evil snowman. He's like, he's basically an evil Frosty is what it is here. Now, this boss fight kind of does seem to throw you off as well, because of the way the format is here. So what it is, that it's basically a snowball fight, and so what we have to do is that if you press the B button, you actually just throw these snowballs at him. And so that's what he does. Like, first he'll throw these snowballs right at you, and so once he actually shows his light here as he lasts, like, you know, basically his fuck me light, then that's where you actually have to go ahead and just throw the snowball right at him, and so that's when he takes damage, and then he actually just does this jazz hand animation. If you press on the control pad, you can actually be able to change the direction and change the flow of how you throw your snowball here. And so after the couple of times, then he'll actually just go to the very front, and then he'll shoot these snowballs, these giant snowballs, right out of the top of his head, kind of like as a cannon. And they go in like a certain pattern too, so you want to make sure to avoid as much as you can. And afterwards, then he's gonna expose his fuck me light once more. And then that's when you have to just take a chance to throw the snowball at him. It's a little tricky to do because of how he's gonna be throwing snowballs, and where exactly his location is. It could be like in either far back or just in the front left here. Now, this kind of gameplay, the way that it is here, it's actually just, you know, it's actually very similar to when you do a Swinky Sideshow, because, you know, because the way that the whole gameplay actually changes, where instead of having to do the regular gameplay of the levels, here it's actually just, you know, just a shooting range you have to do well, actually just some kind of a target throwing range here. So, if you actually haven't played Swinky Sideshow or any one of the minigames in Swinky Sideshow, then having to do this boss fight, but having to do that, it's going to be very off-putting, very jarring, and actually It's actually something that will really throw you off because, you know, because you really don't expect to be thrown in this kind of a gameplay loop here either, because of the way the gameplay format is. It actually just shoots over to this kind of gameplay style to have to throw those snowballs over. So, I mean, you know, if you already played those mini games, you know, you should be able to know about this more. But if you haven't played those mini games, then yeah, you might not have an easier time because of, you know, it'll just throw you off. But anyway, so now Bleak is done, and so now we finally got done with K3. Thank God, because that level just left a bad taste in my mouth. But yeah, that's all you have to do. Just keep on throwing those snowballs at those lights. Whenever he exposes them, just to throw them over, and that's what you do. It's a little tricky because of the way they throw snowballs, but, you know, but let's not know what, though, so... Anyways, next time Let's Play Donkey Kong Country 3, we're going to be going to our next area, which I can't remember what it was, though, but we will definitely see for sure. So until next time, I'll see you guys later.